Hello everyone, this is Matt from Real World Review, and today we're going to be replacing the iPhone 15 screen, but this video will also work for the iPhone 15 Plus, as they are essentially the same disassembly. So the tools you're going to need are going to be a PH000 bit, a Y000 bit, a Pentalobe P2 driver, a razor blade, and a plastic pick. You might want to use heat. I personally didn't use this because the OLED was already broken. So the first thing we're going to do is power off the phone. Obviously I can't do it on this one, but what we're going to do is grab the P2 driver and remove the bottom two screws. Then we're going to get a razor blade and shove it in between the glass and the metal frame, and we want to get as deep as possible to get under the plastic frame that the screen sits on, not the glass or the OLED. In this situation, the OLED was broken, so it wasn't really that big of a deal for me, but if you're trying to preserve the OLED, you definitely want to be careful here and make sure to get under the frame. Once we get a little bit of a gap, we want to switch to the pick and start to cut through that adhesive. If you're trying to preserve that OLED, this is where you would want to use heat so you can loosen up that adhesive. Maybe a small amount of rubbing alcohol if you have like a little dripper, but all I did was just use a plastic pick and it just cuts through the adhesive pretty easily. So you want to cut through the bottom side and then go up the right side a little bit and go up the left side a little bit. And then what you want to do, you want to make the top loose like this and then just loosen up the little prongs that are up there. It might be a little bit difficult. You might have to wiggle the screen a little bit, but ultimately what you want to do is you want to lift it over to the left. One thing you want to be careful with that pick is to make sure you don't go in too far because you can cut the cables and you definitely don't want to do that. So once you lift up the screen and push it to the left, what we're going to do is grab the Y000 bit. We're going to remove this screw right here and fold this little silver piece like this. And then we're going to grab the pick and unplug that cable. We're going to do the same thing with the bottom one, except for that one, this little piece is going to fold up. And of course, you grab the pick and remove the screen. Now what we're going to do real quickly is plug in the screen, and I'm just going to try to power off the phone if I can. But it looks like I can't, so I'm going to have to volume up, volume down, and hold the power button to turn off the phone. And we're just going to wait for that to turn off. And while we're waiting for that to reboot so I can test the screen, we're going to grab the PH000 bit and remove this top screw right here. And then grab this little metal piece that hooks in on the right side. Next, I recommend adding a little bit of heat on here if you've never done this, but we're going to grab this pick right here and lift up this light sensor very carefully. Obviously, you don't want to tear any cables ever, but especially this one. And with that heat, you're going to carefully lift up on this cable. There's nothing really on that cable except for that little sensor on the top right. If you bend that too much, it could break. So definitely try not to bend it like that. And now that we see that the phone is on, we're going to test the touchscreen, and it seems to be working. So we're just going to power it off, unplug the screen, take off this little seal or any seals, be a professional. And then we're going to set this light sensor and that top cable back in place. And of course, we're going to put that little metal piece in there, hook it in on the right side, and grab that PH000 bit to put that screw back in. Next, we're going to plug in that top cable. I find it easier to fold it like this. And then we'll put this little metal piece, it hooks in on the bottom and just sits down like this. Grab the Y000 bit and screw, put in that screw, and then plug in the screen cable on the bottom. And again, doing the same thing, a little hook like this on the top and fold it down. Y000 bit screw that back in. And now we can set the screen in. So there's hooks on the top, so I recommend hooking those in like this. And then just pushing down on the sides very carefully, making sure that everything is flat and there's nothing that gets caught. And lastly, you want to put in the bottom two P2 driver screws. And now you can power it on, test to make sure that it's working, and it seems like it is. Hopefully this video helped you out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching.